Owen Smith, the new boy on the block, in an interview for the New Statesman. Jeremy is going to lead us into the election. He is the leader of the Labour Party. He said very, very clearly that he wants to take us into the next election. He won a stonking majority. Jeremy is going to take us into the election in 2020. End of. That's what Owen Smith said. Why did he change his mind? My theory, coming up next. As I said at the top, that was an interview in the New Statesman on the 9th of January 2016. What has happened since then? Well, this is what I think. Owen Smith, in the run-up to the leadership challenge for Labour, has faced some challenging comments over the last week with regards to him having worked as a lobbyist for the pharmaceutical company Pfizer, although he hates it being referred to as that. Now, whilst that might be a normal job as such, and you could argue what is wrong with working for a pharmaceutical company, you have to find out what motives and practices were actually behind this job. One of them practices was that he lobbied for his company at the time when they were putting massive pressure on a developing country to pay 10 times the going rate for a heart drug. The company then launched legal action after the country simply just tried to save money on its health bill by importing the drug from India, which then stood at 10 cents a pill. But they tried to force the Philippines authorities to pay $1 a pill for the drug Norvasc. And Owen Smith was the head of government relations for the company. Now, considering he has had some stick over this relationship, he stands by the fact that he wants the NHS to be completely public owned. But did he forget the fact when he first became an MP for Labour that he called for ministers to improve incentives for pharmaceutical companies? What does that even refer to? Taking money for high-priced drugs, offering out contracts on the NHS. The incentives, I think, are still a little unclear. Back in 2005, when he was still at Pfizer, Smith endorsed a report by the company offering NHS patients easier access to private sector healthcare. The Times revealed that he said, "We believe that choice is a good thing," and it is, and that patients and healthcare professionals should be at the heart of developing the agenda. And is that what it really is? An agenda. He was approached with regards to these comments by Radio 4, and he said to them he has never advocated privatisation of the NHS. And that only proves one thing to me, that if you have a clever grasp on the English language, you can almost get yourself out of anything. Now, you could argue again, he has since left the big boy of the drug industry and has no real connection to them anymore. But lo and behold, who has he hired to run his leadership campaign? The smooth-talking John Lehow. Now, I may have that name wrong, but he is a leading corporate lobbyist for Pfizer, and it shouldn't go unmentioned that he thinks quite a lot of Tony Blair. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is not how you win the trust of the British public, which is what he said he wanted in an interview with BBC's Laura Kunsberg. And as an MP, if that's what you want from the British public, you have to be careful in the decisions you make. You have to give the public a reason to trust you. And lately, certainly with David Cameron, the words tax evasion or tax avoidance have become a bit of a taboo subject. And there is a lot of mudslinging and underhandedness with regards to this. So, accepting a donation from a company that has been allegedly accused of promoting tax avoidance on an industrial scale seems to me not the best moves to take part in. The donation given to Owen Smith, a mere snippet of £60,000, came from the city firm Price Waterhouse Coopers, commonly known as PwC. And the gift came in 2011 while Owen Smith was serving as Shadow Treasury Minister. Apparently the donation in kind was for ad hoc services. But the Public Accounts Committee chairperson and Labour MP Margaret Hodge deemed this relationship inappropriate. And I think it is. Although MPs running a campaign for any leadership race, you have to be careful with regards to what you stand for and where you get the funds from. And these kind of funds are oceans apart from Jeremy Corbyn, the very man that Smith says he emulates in his policies. Jeremy Corbyn did in fact raise £220,000 in cash gifts for his leadership contest, but that came from trade unions and not from big businesses, and certainly not from a big business that has been accused of tax avoidance schemes. But one thing that worries me now incredibly is Trident and the thought of nuclear weapons. Now, me personally, I would like to see the back end of this type of weapon, but I guess they are a deterrent. Leaders are that scared of them being used that although we do go to war, there are rules of engagement in place. That said, Owen Smith has gladly and publicly said that he is happy to authorise the use of nuclear weapons, and as Prime Minister, if he ever gets there, he would launch a nuclear attack. That for me is setting off alarm bells louder than Big Ben. Is Owen Smith normal, which is a term I hate anyway, so is he down with the working class? Well, let's see. £80,000 a year previously, with possibly one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. Lived in a 4-bedroom house in Westcott, home to many wealthy stockbrokers. Sold that house in 2010 when he was elected for a profit of £250,000. Working class boy done good? Yes, you could say that. Has he done well? Yes, you could say that too. But if you try to pull the wool over the eyes of the British public, eventually they will find you, they will come after you, and they will, well not kill you, but you can see what I'm getting at. Has the big pharma company he was working for cottoned onto the fact that the PLP want Jeremy Corbyn out? Have they said to Owen Smith, start a coup to get Jeremy out, try and get in, offer us private contracts for the NHS, and in exchange we'll do you a favour? And that's really where the coup started. Who actually knows why he changed his mind since the interview in January? But he has. And I, for one, would like to know why. Do you agree with what was said in this video? If you do, put some comments in the box below. I'd like to hear your ideas. Click on the thumbs up. Click subscribe as well so you never miss an episode. And I'll see you again in the next episode.